Greetings, everyone. Now, today I want to talk about a subject that I haven't really, taken time to actually speak about. In fact, I've never really spoken about this subject before. But based on recent events, I've actually seen that this is a very big subject and it must be addressed, especially based upon the times that we are indeed living in. And that subject is the subject of relationships or the subject of marriage. Now, one of the main reasons why I want to talk about this is because I've seen how degraded and how put to the side marriage actually has become. People marry and divorce at such alarming rates that it's no longer a gathering of holy matrimony. In fact, it's just become, a moment just to recite vows and that's it, not really stick to the promises that you're actually giving to the other person. And especially in the entertainment world today, which everyone is attracted to, that's one of the biggest avenues that teach people that marriage doesn't really last. Now, I want you to notice this verse because, like I said from the very beginning, I did take time just to study a few verses out. I want you to look at this verse and I want you to see exactly how things link in when it comes to this subject of marriage. 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 1 and 2 says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy." Now, even though I've known that, children have been disobedient to their parents, I have wondered to a large degree, why did it actually mention this as one of the key factors in the last days? I mean, I'm sure we've all seen statistics that most of the crime-related issues come from the young, come from teenagers, come from children. And one of the many reasons why this is the case is because the things that need to be implemented in the home are not being implemented at all. And therefore, because those things are not, or the principles are not being implemented in the home, children, teenagers, etc., they're left to find other means of fulfillment. So as I look at this verse where it says disobedience to parents, I believe that the root issue is not being implemented, which is causing this to be a prophecy in the last days. And the question then is, what is that root issue? Adventist Home, page 16 says, "The atmosphere surrounding the souls of fathers and mothers fills the whole house and is felt in every department of the home. To a large extent, parents create the atmosphere of the home circle. And when there is disagreement between father and mother, the children partake of the same spirit." The root issue is the parent. So even before you enter into a stage of parenthood, there obviously must be two individuals who come together. So as the two individuals come together, we must ask the first question. Who are these two individuals who come together? In other words, who do you select as your partner? I ask this because the person who you select is based upon the outcome of the rest of your life. Not just your life, but your children's life as well. Now, it's not an uncommon thing for you to select somebody who looks beautiful or who looks stunning, but social media and music videos and especially movies, they've done a very good job in displaying what your ideal wife or husband should be like. But it's funny and sad to know that the same individuals who have dashing looks have divorces quicker than when they get married. And so because the individual who watches these things look for the romantic side of marriage or look for the love smoothie doodie or whatever it is, they're not prepared for the future because they've started on a wrong foundation on what the principle of marriage and the principle of family life is all about. In the Bible, we even have good examples of these facts. Samson chose the beautiful Delilah, which caused his death. Ahab chose Jezebel, which caused the death of God's prophets. And even with Jacob, Rachel and Leah, Jacob wanted Rachel because she was good looking or she was beautiful in common terminology, though Leah was the one that God wanted for Jacob. Alright, so keeping in line with the subject that we were talking about from the very beginning, though I'm just relaying to you principles, I'm not saying that you can't go for the most prettiest person, whatever the case may be. What I'm trying to say is that you must go for the person who reflects the character that the Word of God is showing. Why? Because good looks can come one day and go the next day, but character lasts forever. Now, I really admire Solomon in the Bible, who was known as the wisest man on this earth after Jesus. But I want you to notice what he even says, and obviously as a man I'm going to be looking at what he says regarding women, but I'm sure you women can actually take the same principle based upon what he's saying. I want you to notice what Solomon says about the best wife to get. Proverbs chapter 31 from verse 10 says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships, she bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She grindeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh her coverings of tapestry, her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen, she selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honour are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favour is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. So now, under the context of a virtuous wife, or a wife that should be sought after, you don't ever hear it mentioned about her looks. All you hear is characteristics. True love is not a fiery, impetuous passion. On the contrary, it is calm and deep in its nature. It looks beyond mere externals and is attracted by qualities alone. It is wise and discriminating, and its devotion is real and abiding. So it's obvious, as I said, good looks come and go, but when it comes to its characteristics, the glory in that person's character is what springs out. 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 7 says, "But the Lord told Samuel, don't look at his appearance or how tall he is, because I have rejected him." God does not see as humans see. Humans look at outward appearances, but the Lord looks into the heart. Why does God look on the heart and not on the outwards? Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23 says, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." So friends, in order to maintain a wholesome and a blessed family, not only now but in the future, it all comes down to the person that you choose for you to be your husband or your wife. And if you choose that person under the characteristics displayed, you obviously will have a beneficial future with your family. And I guess the reason why I want to use this characteristic, or the reason why I want to use this principle of looks, is because I've noticed that in the past, or even in the present should I say, many people want to go for the person who looks the best. But obviously the best only comes true when you have the right characteristics. And this is why Jesus said he looks on the inward and not the outward. So as you're meditating upon these principles, I want to end with this quote that has a kind of a ripple effect if we understand where it's really coming from. Notice what it says as we close. "Society is composed of families and is what the heads of families make it. Out of the heart are the issues of life. And the heart of the community, of the church, and of the nation is the household. The well-being of society, the success of the church, the prosperity of the nation depend upon the home influence." So when the Bible said in 2 Timothy chapter 3, when it said being disobedient to parents, we can always link it back to the home. So the question is, based upon the person that you pick for your husband or your wife, what kind of home will you be establishing? This is where prudence and a thoughtful mind comes into the picture. Okay, now I'm sure there's more principles that could be said. I just wanted to use this one about appearance because I know that that's a very, very big one. But I'm sure all the principles can be related in everything that you do as well in regards to marriage. Okay, so I really hope that this has made sense. Thank you once again for watching. Any questions that you have, please leave it in the comments box below and it will be answered in the question and answer session videos. But until then, thanks for watching. May God bless. Bye for now. Many of the LGBT community have been harassed, condemned and bullied by millions of religious groups in the world, simply because of the fact that they are of the LGBT community.
You're obviously quite convicted in what you believe. How does it feel that you're like vastly outnumbered?
I love it, because Christ said, wide is the gate and many go in at the path that leads to destruction, and few, narrow is the way and straight is the gate that leads to eternal life, and few there be that find it. If there were a whole bunch of people on my side, I'd be worried. Plus, you can listen to their words and hear that they're a bunch of filthy, oh my gosh, filthy people. Do you hear the words that are coming out of their mouth?
Again, we're
It's
back
disgusting,
to the hypocrisy.
explicit,
We're back to the
disgusting.
hypocrisy
You're
thing.
trying to equate this with explicit descriptions of sex
You got
acts?
derogatories on your sign, and you're
That's
talking
not
about
derog-
filth.
That is a beautiful word.
That is a hate word.
That is beautiful.
Though one may not be part of the LGBT community, I'm sure at some point in one's life one has experienced being bullied, bullied someone, or witnessed someone being bullied. And I'm sure nature alone will express that this is not the way things ought to be.